फैन बनकर है।
हे श्रुति, कैसे है?
Hi Vaibhav, how are you?
ऑल गुड, ऑल गुड।
So
आपको ऑडियो वीडियो
voice is clear?
ओके? हाँ, आपकी तो एकदम सही है। आपकी, मेरी
आपका वीडियो थोड़ा थोड़ा फ्रीज हो रहा है, हल्का हल्का। कुछ कनेक्शन का इशू है क्या?
कनेक्शन तो ठीक होना चाहिए अभी। इज इट ओके?
हाँ,
अभी
मतलब
ठीक है?
क्लियर है, थोड़ा थोड़ा सा फ्रीज हो रहा है बीच बीच में।
लैगिंग है,
हाँ हाँ
लैग
हाँ,
है कि
लैग
कैसा
है,
है?
लैग
अभी
है
भी
थोड़ा।
है? ऑडियो में भी लैग है?
हाँ हाँ, थोड़ा सा।
ऑडियो में भी लैग है। अभी अभी भी है?
हम्म, थोड़ा है या
शायद इससे ज्यादा मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाऊंगा। आई डोंट नो वेदर वीडियो का क्वालिटी अगर मैं कुछ चेंज कर सकूं तो इज देयर एनी ऑप्शन?
नहीं, आई थिंक वो कनेक्शन का ही थोड़ा है, बिकॉज लैगिंग है पूरा, इट्स लैगिंग अ लॉट।
बहुत है?
now it's better, yeah.
पक्का? श्योर? अच्छा, ठीक ठीक।
How are you, Vaibhav?
ऑल गुड, ऑल गुड। कैसे हैं आप लोग?
Bus here
कैसा चल
also
रहा है
good.
पेनी का?
Penny is all good. Penny, come here, say hi to your teacher. She was waiting, then she slept off.
ऐसा है क्या?
Yeah.
अभी
So
कितना एज हो गया उसको?
guys, we just joined earlier because we wanted to check the connection, audio, video, and everything. So
पीपल हैव ऑलरेडी जॉइंड,
my
इज इट?
video and audio is clear, Vaibhav.
या, ऑल परफेक्ट।
Penny, you want to say hi? Come here. Everyone wants to see you. Come here, come here.
Bangalore, it's raining, I think so, right?
Yeah. So today it was a little like hot, but not much. But yeah, it's been raining. Come here, say hi to everybody. Say hi, Penny.
Penny, Penny, confused.
She's like, let me sleep. You go do the talking.
Correct, correct, correct. How are things in Bangalore otherwise? All good. I was there for 10 days, Shruti.
Yeah.
It was from
Yeah, all
27th
good.
to...
I'm sure all your clients must be missing you a lot.
Uh,
We were so sad that you're leaving.
I'll keep on visiting as and when required. So it's not that permanently I have permanently moved, but if I can club on the sessions, I'll definitely make a visits on a regular basis. Let's see.
That's amazing. So how's life in the mountains?
All good, chilled out. Uh, the day I landed, this was the first time I came back after moving to Uttarakhand, and I thought I'll feel a bit guilty about leaving the city, but I think so. I was happy once I landed. I thought it was better for me.
I'm sure the traffic must have.
Traffic, correct, correct, correct. Traffic, roads, everything, and because my job was all going to parents' place, it was a bit of a hectic one in terms of travel. So here it is better doing online consultation and once in a while coming to Delhi, Bangalore. So this is better. This model works better for me and for my dogs.
Yeah. How are Eddie and
All good, all good.
Mowgli?
Yeah, they are doing better. They are doing better. More freedom.
Yeah.
Eddie, considering that he's 13 years now, so
Okay.
this is
Slowing down.
better because every time he had to go down to do his business in Bangalore, which is way better here because he can just go out, relieve himself, and come back. And Mowgli has become all full gunda. All sort of species he's meeting.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So guys, just giving you a quick intro. Thank you so much. Should we wait for like more people to join? I think maybe we can wait for a couple of more minutes.
Sure.
I think Weber, your connection is a little weak because the video is like
Still blurry?
lagging. Maybe if you can like somewhere closer to the router or something, you can move. Oh, your audio is gone.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, okay. This is the best that I can do. In fact, now even for me, yours is kind of blurry. No lag is there, but then now this is better.
Okay. Okay, Vaibhav. I think people have joined.
Yeah.
So we can start the session because we have a lot of questions for you.
Let's see.
People went crazy. Like I thought that I don't know how many of them will be interested. So just like we have started this Snouters Digest, like it's Reader's Digest. So we have done Snouters Digest.
Okay.
So this is an initiative by us, like on behalf of Penny, because
Mm-hmm.
we were very clueless when we were new pet parents. We are also first time pet parents.
Correct.
So हमें भी मतलब नहीं था इतना knowledge and we तो didn't know anything. So if you remember, we called you from the train when we were
Correct,
coming to
correct,
Bangalore
correct.
with
That you are
Penny.
going to reach and
So
you need some
yeah,
assistance.
so we
That's
were
true.
so fortunate that we found you at the very beginning of our journey. But many parents, many pet parents are not that fortunate. They
Correct,
unfortunately, there is a huge gap in information
correct,
that is available to them.
correct.
So by the time they come on Instagram, plus not many are on Instagram. So but even when they are like discussing with peers, so there is a huge gap what we realized. And how I realized is that when I keep getting DMs, so I'm not any influencer. I just created Penny's page so that I can just put happy things and make a library with her memories and all. But later, as you grow on Instagram, people, when you build a community, then you get to know that there are things that people should know what I didn't know and maybe can help them. So that's
Correct.
how I thought that when I kept getting a lot of DMs that ये कैसे होता है मेरे dog को ऐसा है, my dog is not eating ऐसे. So I felt like I am not in that position to be able to share that information because what if something works for my dog but that doesn't with theirs. So they should hear it from a professional's mouth. And sadly I didn't see anybody like doing this, that bringing in professionals and at least talking about these things, because these conversations are also very important.
True,
So that's why we started
true.
this, just
All,
giving a
all
brief.
the very best
So
and happy to know people are starting this kind of
yeah.
initiative to help other pet
Thank you,
parents. All the
Weber.
very
So this
best.
is just like it's nothing very huge, but yeah, for us it's huge because I feel that many people can benefit from this if they hear it from the professional's mouth and not
Correct.
from a random DM on Instagram or a random maybe creator or influencer telling them. So it's always better to hear it from the
That's true.
credible
Yeah,
sources.
yeah, yeah.
So you
Yes,
are the
yes.
first live session with us,
Thank
and
you
I
so
always
much for inviting.
I was always wanting to do this, but I was never sure कि should I, like I don't even have an audience or मेरे को ऐसे followers वगैरह नहीं है.
Correct.
But I was like जितने हैं वही question पूछते हैं तो might as well उनको ही answer मिले.
Correct.
That's the
Correct.
best.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. No, no,
So
no. Definitely, it'll start bringing up the changes, Shruti. With the time, you'll see
yeah,
that more people would start this kind of initiative. Whether it be me or someone else, that doesn't matter. What matters is people or the pet parent should get the right information.
definitely.
I mean, Google is a good source of information, but the problem is too much of information causes a lot of
Yeah.
confusion to the pet parents.
Plus, it
So
is, I think it is more generalized on Google.
that's
So
true.
people forget that case to case basis also things are a lot different, and you cannot
That's true.
generalize in case of like pets, and
That's
when
true.
they can't speak for themselves. So मुझे हमेशा लगता है कि if somebody comes कि behavior में ऐसा है वैसा है, तो instead of giving my ज्ञान on DMs, I just say कि भाई इसको कांटेक्ट करो उसको कांटेक्ट करो. कितनों को तो आई हैव लाइक आपका नंबर मैंने ऐसे बांटा है ना लोगों को कि भाई
मुझे
मुझे
आया है.
जिससे फायदा
Thank you
मिला
for the
है मैंने
reference.
कहा मैं
Correct,
उसको
correct.
आगे बढ़ाऊंगी कि भाई आप भी
Thank you
इनसे
so
ही बात
much.
करो मुझसे मत पूछो just deal with things. So yeah, one thing I wanted to make clear in the for everybody who has joined, that this is not like I'm promoting Vaibhav or I'm doing any sort of thing, because I truly believe in him, because he's the person who literally changed our lives. We knew zero when we brought Penny home, like, any, as a random pet parent, jo pehli baar who's become a pet parent. So we have been on this journey with him, and he constantly kept guiding us because he constantly kept eating his head. So I felt that he's the best person to start this session with, because firstly we believe in him, and secondly it's not about contacting any one particular behaviorist. It's about knowing, first of all, that you have to contact professionals for certain issues. You cannot rely on random Google searches. You cannot rely on just word of mouth ki अरे उसका dog ऐसे करता है. No, please don't do that. It's very Behavior issues are very common in dogs these days, from what I can see in my surroundings, and in everywhere on Instagram, where we think that things are funny, but they are not. They are really serious issues, and nobody's talking about them. So that's the reason I thought that first should be Behavior. Plus we have festive season going on, so there are a lot of changes that our dogs are going to show, and our dogs are going to want us to understand, which we faced very badly in the first year with Penny. And I know Weber remembers that how panicked we were Diwali ke time pe. Oh
True.
my god! So
Correct.
that is the only reason that we are doing this. And Weber was so kind enough to take out time for us and join with us. So thank you again, Vaibhav, कि मैंने एक बार बोला and you
My
just said
pleasure.
yes, said that I'm locking the calendar. Thank you so much.
That's all my pleasure, Shruti, as always.
So Vaibhav, we'll just start with like the most basic thing that even I was not clear about until I met you and you explained it to us. Ki what is the difference? And it's something that everybody should understand first. That what is the difference between a canine behaviorist and a trainer? So this is something that I think 90% people don't know. We also didn't know.
Correct.
So we got
Correct.
educated. Ki people confuse ki a trainer and behaviorist is the same thing. So I
Correct. Correct.
wanted you to tell people how is it different and how different it is. Because I know that it's like there are two different professions. Obviously, some they are interlinked, but they are not the same. So just this basic difference, if you can explain.
Correct. So, thank you, all of you, to join up the session. I hope this will be worth for you to spend time on the call. To answer Shruti's question about trainers and behaviorists, these are two different professionals. What we have to understand is trainers always train the dog to do something. Behavioral consulting is related to the behavior shown by the dog, which is bothering the parents, and parents want to fix it. A training can never fix a problem. This is the basics. And on a very high level, training, we train the dog to do something. In behavior correction, we try to stop the dog to show certain behavior. It means stopping is behavioral corrections, which happens after the consultations. Training is making them do something. It's totally different sectors. Always Parents always have to understand that training is never to fix a problem or to answer your queries. It is always to train your dog to do something. Means it's only the dog who learns to do something in training. Behavioral consulting, it's a mutual effort by the dog and the pet parents to reach out to a stage where parents don't have a lot of concerns, or their concerns are being addressed. So what parents have to really understand is which professional to reach out, for what
Yes.
purpose. If they
Yeah.
are not able to do it, many times they'll not be able to get the right support or the assistance, and they may start losing the faith on this profession.
Yeah.
In fact, if I tell you the fact, Shruti, in India, this profession is not really well known. Every
Mhm.
trainer may start working as a behavioral consultant,
Yeah.
whereas
True. Yeah.
yeah, so nobody will deny that they are not into this profession. They have to reach out to someone else. They'll
Yeah.
start taking the request from the parents. They'll do whatever they know, rather than sorting out or addressing the problem which the parents have for their pets. So this is the basic. I won't go too deep into that, but then uh, behavioral consulting happens whenever you have any problem with the pet's behavior.
So I think what we can say is like behaviorist works with the parents more than the dog,
Correct.
because the parents are the
That
ones who have to understand your dog. You have to build
correct,
a relationship
correct.
with your dog.
So, pet, the interaction with the pet happens only to understand the behavior, but then the more interaction happens with the parents,
Hmm.
where the expert would guide the parents as to what should be done, what shouldn't be done, or do's and don'ts, so that they can address the concern. It's not that an behavioral consultant will come and fix the problem. No, that doesn't happen. Similarly, if the trainer is trying to do that, it's not going to help you. Parents have to understand that they have to do
Yeah.
certain changes in their handling of the pet so as to bring up the required changes or the
Yeah.
expected changes.
So I think like be it like a behavior consultation or training, the parents should equally be present. Like in behavior consultation, the parents have to be present because they are the ones who are being educated. Like I remember we also thought when we were calling you कि अरे trainer हैं वैभव वो आके सिखाएंगे sit ये वो करके, but you came and you gave us this big list कि you have to understand this that, then that is what blew our minds कि oh, this is a consultation for us. That is the reason we have been able to build a relationship with Penny, and that's why she is what she is, because we have to take time to understand them.
That's true.
So this is one thing, guys, you need to understand, because I have seen so many people की सेम चीज ही तो है ऐसे बोल देते हैं कि नहीं अच्छा इनका ये behaviorist है बोल के they will send profiles of trainers, so which is actually not correct.
Not
So I think it's both ways. You also have to understand, plus the professionals also I think have to be fair enough to direct people to the right sources, like
correct.
कि
That's
ये
true.
प्रॉब्लम एक ट्रेनर की है, ये प्रॉब्लम एक बिहेवियरिस्ट की है. सो वैभव, व्हाई डोंट यू टेल समथिंग अबाउट योरसेल्फ टू एवरीबॉडी? मैं तो बोलती रहती हूँ आपका, बट आपके मुंह से ही सुनने
Me,
दो
in
सबको.
very brief, we won't prolong
या.
my introduction because the agenda is totally different. But then
यस.
I worked in corporate for 14 years. Then somehow I got really pissed off with the job, quit the job. Uh, Never to start in with this profession, but then few of my friends who got helped with my advices, suggestions earlier, insisted me to start this professionally, and it somehow worked out very well. And I thought to continue into this profession. Regarding, I don't have any certification. I haven't gone through any training for this profession. Uh, my learning was all from the dogs that I interacted, especially on the street, with whom my dog used to interact with. So seeing how they behave, how they handle, got me. And there was no intention for me to learn to start into this profession. It was an unknowing learning for me, which automatically started helping me to help assist the parents with the problems with their pets. So it was all coincidental that I got into this profession, and then just because parents like you had faith in me and my practices, definitely promoted me to continue in this profession.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, guys, so like I have seen like even many trainers or many behaviorists, like people have different ideologies. So I think people should like listen to different people, and then see कि आपका ideology किससे match कर रहा है, which like trainer से या behaviorist से you agree with and you want to proceed with, and then take informed decisions. But you should go ahead with this, because I have seen like I mean, just randomly you see, I mean, so many dogs are having basic like behavior issues which are overlooked and which really lead to bigger issues later on. Like, they are anxious all the time. They are like so troubled, but nobody is understanding them. And eventually that comes out like a negative behavior, and then, everybody starts blaming the dog. So जब वो इतने टाइम से आपको communicate करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तब आपने सुना नहीं. अभी इतना बढ़ गया है कि sometimes it like becomes just irreversible, and then you just have to deal
Correct.
with the situation.
So
So that's
for
why I always tell pet parents, जिनका भी मुझसे बात होता है कि especially new pet parents जो नहीं puppy ले आए हैं या एकदम first time है, you should definitely have at least one consultation with a behaviorist, So trainer can wait, but at least the first
Correct.
consultation should be with a behaviorist so that you understand your dog
Correct.
and you understand कि हो क्या रहा है हमारे लाइफ
That's
में,
true.
क्या
Yes,
चेंज है,
yes,
क्या
yes,
है.
yes, yes. One thing to add on this, parents should remember few C's when they are consulting a expert. They have to be convinced about that person is telling. They have to be comfortable with what practices the person is telling.
Yeah,
They have to be a bit confident that things may change when the expert is prescribing something. Because if the parents are convinced, comfortable, and confident, is when they'll be committed to practice those exercises
true.
after the sessions.
Yeah,
So your commitment will come only when you have the confidence, you are convinced, and you are comfortable to apply that. Don't simply
absolutely.
fall into the words of any professional just because the professional has got a good name. Your thought, your concepts should be on the priority. If you are not comfortable with something that has been prescribed, don't apply that unless you are not comfortable, convinced, and confident.
True. So I had put up like ask me a question when I announced yeah we will be starting this. So baap re baap, my inbox was flooded with questions, and then I realized, and the best thing was that the pattern that I realized is ki how so many dogs are having the same issues. Like many like I had suppose just a random number, suppose 50 people asked, then out of that I felt like at least 15-20 people had the same issue. So main that is what made me understand how badly people really मतलब need these kind of sessions. And आप जैसे प्रोफेशनल्स ही आके बता सकते हैं लोगों को कि ये सही है ये गलत है. तो क्योंकि लोगों को पता तो चले कि ऐसा कुछ होता है. मुझे तो लग रहा है आधे लोगों को पता ही नहीं है कि यार बिहेवियरिस्ट क्या होता है. मतलब सबने ट्रेनर ही सुना है कि
Correct,
ट्रेनर होता है, एवरीथिंग
correct, correct,
ट्रेनर
correct.
होता है. तो
Slowly it will
इसीलिए मैंने
change.
सोचा कि
Slowly it will
मैं
change.
या
People will be
कि
more aware about this
इसीलिए
profession. Yeah.
इसीलिए इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट हैविंग लाइक अ चिट चैट बिटवीन अस, आई फेल्ट कि लोगों से क्वेश्चंस लेने चाहिए कि आप ही बताओ आपको क्या जानना है. सो दैट्स व्हाट वी कैन एड्रेस हियर. सो बहुत सारे थे, उनको मैंने कंसाइज करके लाइक जो बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट थे दैट आई हैव जॉटेड डाउन. सो आई थिंक वी कैन बिगिन विद दिस. सो सबसे पहला तो था व्हाट पीपल शुड अंडरस्टैंड इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली सोशलाइजेशन एंड उसका बिहेवियर में क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है.
Okay, so what we have to understand, socializing, we take it very lightly for dogs, and we don't go deeper into understanding what exactly is socializing. What all socializing parameters are applied for different pets and pet parents. So socializing is making the pet comfortable for every experiences that the pet has to go through for next 15 years. So let's say if the pet has to keep on meeting new dogs, the pet has to be comfortable about those experiences. Similarly, meeting new people, it could be meeting going to new places, it could be walking in the traffic, it could be going to the boardings, it could be riding in the car, auto, lift, scooter, everything. So what every parent has to understand is, or to better is to make a list of everything that their pet is going to experience on a regular basis throughout his or her life, and making sure to make that pet comfortable with those experiences within 6 months of age. So this is exactly socializing. Socializing doesn't happen at the later stage. It becomes very difficult. I won't go too deep into why this happens because it comes from the species trait or the instincts. But dog as a species doesn't adapt to new experiences after certain age, which is mostly around 6 months of age. So within 6 months, every parent should focus on exposing their pet to every environment, and not exposing, but making sure that the pet is comfortable. So within 6 months, if the pet is comfortable meeting new dogs, new humans, going to new places, walking in traffic, going to boating, staying alone at home, everything in this regards, whatever the pet has to experience on a regular basis comes under socializing. Now, just to give you an example, let's say a parent is having a pet in a farm where the pet doesn't have to go to a boarding. or the pet doesn't have to meet other dogs. That doesn't come in socializing for that particular pet. But uh, his or her exposure to other farm animals or the other species comes under socializing. Because if the person has hens, if the person has goats, if the person has kettles, the dog or the pet has to get comfortable with those species. So if the dog is if the pet is going to stay in the farm, is not going to walk in the traffic ever, so the socializing of traffic is not really required for that particular pet. So in cities, the socializing is totally different. In Indian cities, it is totally different. In abroad cities, it will be totally different. In tier two cities, in villages, in towns, everywhere the socializing parameters differs based on the life of the pet. So
So it is basically up to the pet कि उसका personality पहले आप समझो क्या है, उसके according आप
not not
steps.
really, irrespective of the personality. What we have to make sure is my pet comfortable with the experiences that he or she is going to experience for next 15 years. This is what the socializing is. If the pet has to keep on meeting new dogs for the whole life, the pet has to be comfortable meeting new dogs within 6 months of age. Okay. So socializing is making the dog comfortable with certain experiences. This is
मतलब
very
like
high level. Obviously,
हाँ
pet parents can reach out to an expert to see, because they will not be able to predict the future or anticipate what all the pet may experience throughout his or her life. But then the expert may help the parents to know what all exposures are really required to socialize the dog. One example, like a dog jumping out of excitement on other humans and other dog is not part of socializing. A jumping dog out of excitement is already comfortable meeting new dogs and new humans. So it is just an etiquette that we have to teach to the pet, not to get into too personal space of humans and dog. But that this factor doesn't come into socializing. Socializing is how comfortably a pet is getting exposed to those kind of experiences.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that explains really well. So next, like I wanted to understand because मैंने जो मतलब questions के through trend देखा था, तो I just wanted कि आपको ज्यादातर मतलब क्या issues दिखे हैं like आपके clients के dogs में क्या मतलब आपने face किया है कि parents are struggling with one like particular issues सबसे ज्यादा because I think most people are struggling with the same kind of things. So वही मुझे लगा कि आप अपने experience से बता सकते हो what you have felt that people
From
are.
my experience, again, what happens, Shruti, is due to the lack of right support, pet parents have lost the faith in this profession,
Hmm.
and they don't reach out for every other concerns that they have for their pet.
Hmm.
So generally, if the situation goes beyond the limit of the parent, is where they start seeking the assistance. They
Oh
don't
yes.
reach
At
out at the early
the right
stages,
time, yeah.
at the right time.
Hmm.
And for these kind of situations, mostly it is aggression, which number of pet parents reach out to me. So aggression is number one. Excitement is number two. Anxieties are number three. Anxieties can be easily managed.
Hmm.
That's the reason people or the pet parents don't reach out to the professional at the or maybe ever they won't reach out, because it can be easily managed.
Hmm.
Uh, Behaviors related to excitement means the pet running on the street if they get somehow off leash, the pet jumping on the other dog, other humans, pet running out of the house. These kind of behaviors are generally related to excitement, which to a certain level bothers the pet parents, and they reach out to me with these kind of problems. And the most common issues are behaviors related to aggression, because most of the aggression over a period of time goes beyond the control. Parents are not able to manage, and then
Yeah.
that's when they reach out. And sometime back you mentioned that it reaches out to point of no return.
Yeah.
Many times we have to go ahead with finding the best solution to manage the
Yeah.
problem rather than focusing on
Fixing it.
fixing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer your question, the top one is aggression, the second is excitement, the third is anxieties.
Hmm. So yeah, that's what the next question that somebody asked was that can you like tell your insight on things that lead to anxiety in dogs, and like how to make my dog, like some dogs are in general I've seen very anxious, like even a simple walk for them becomes like the biggest nightmare, and they are constantly on alert, and it's very, and I have seen dogs struggle, so they are just, it's like उनके पेरेंट्स उनको सिर्फ लाइक पी पूप करा के तुरंत वापस ले जाते हैं,
That's
because
true.
walks are not a happy experience, which is very sad, because a dog deserves that kind of exposure and outing, and so what is your take, like by how can we deal with anxiety in dogs,
Correct. So,
and क्या एक पॉइंट होना चाहिए जहाँ पे हम थोड़ा वर्क करते रहे कि पॉइंट ही रीच ना हो, बट इफ अ डॉग इज मतलब नेचुरली एंग्शियस तो कैसे डील करते हैं?
see, dog cannot be naturally anxious. Why I'm telling you this, Shruti, is dog could be a timid one, bit underconfident. The puppy would be, I would say, not dog. Could be a underconfident dog, but definitely we can work with that particular puppy to grow him or her as a confident one over a period of time. We just now talk about socializing. Okay, so if- from your experience also, what you would see is if a puppy is getting scared of something, immediately the parents will shield the pup, even if there's no factor for the parents to shield the dog. Let's say I'm walking my dog on the street, and if the dog is my puppy is getting scared of the traffic, I shouldn't be shielding the puppy. In fact, I should be pushing his or her boundaries to go and expose and make the puppy more confident. So generally, our natural instinct says immediately shield the pup because he or she may be extremely stressed out. It's okay. That's a stress. That's not anxiety. It's
Oh,
as good as if the kid is crying while going to school for initial few days. Mummy doesn't send the kid to the school. That doesn't happen. Mummy builds up the confidence and then please go. You. This is what you have to face throughout your life. So rather than building the confidence of the puppy, generally what pet parents do is just the opposite of it. They start shielding the puppy, which confirms the fear of the puppy towards that particular trigger or
okay.
okay, the stimulus. So the best way to avoid anxieties is expose the dog to all the environments that again the pet has to experience throughout his or her life. If ever the anxiety gets developed, address it at the initial state. Don't wait until the situation goes out of your control or you're not able to manage it. Again, the problem is you try to prevent the problem is the best. You try to address the problem at the early stage, which could be around 6 months to 1.5 years of age. Still can be done. Post 2 years of age, it becomes so difficult that the amount of efforts and time is required for fixing up the problem. No parent has that time. So unfortunately, they have to work towards managing the issue rather than even focusing. By the way, no outsider can come and fix your problem because let's say if me being an expert come to the pet's parent and start working with the pet immediately may feel more confident while working with
Yeah,
me. Yeah,
within your presence. Yeah.
in my presence because of the way I'm handling the situation, the pet will start becoming more confident when I am there, and or any expert by the for that matter. But with the parents who are not confident, who are very nervous about the anxieties of the dog will feel more anxious in those kind
Yeah.
of situations.
So
So
I think
it
the dogs also pick up on our like body language a lot, because I have seen with Penny, like if I'm anxious, so I can see that reflecting in her behavior immediately, and she definitely, like, they pick up what we are feeling. That is
that's
true, and
true.
especially with our
Yeah,
body language. So yeah, this
correct,
is a very
correct.
important
One thing,
point.
instead of saying that the dogs pick up, see,
Hmm.
humans also pick up.
Hmm.
If I'm being with a person who is very confident, I can face any challenges in my life.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
if I'm being with a person who himself or herself is not really confident, I'll start losing
Yeah.
my confidence. So it doesn't really apply only to the dogs or the pets.
Hmm.
It applies for any life. So we basically influence the life around us.
True.
Right.
Yes.
So, hence, if the parents see that the pet is not doing well or is not showing any sort of certain confidence in particular environment, they have to reach out to an expert to know how to address it. And the changes doesn't take a lot of time. You shouldn't be in a state of mind or understanding that changes may need years to reflect in the pet. If you do it in the right way, the changes may start showing within a week or 10 days
Yeah.
if you are addressing at the early stage.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
mainly, I think people have to have that faith in the process, and they have to have a lot of patience, because patience नहीं है तो फिर तो सब कुछ ही मुश्किल है. तो I think
It's
patience is
true.
what people lose, and इतना तो आप पेट पेरेंट बने हो तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि you will need. It's not like a human baby जिसके साथ आप डील कर रहे हो जो आपको बता
Correct.
देगा
I
कि मुझे
won't
ये प्रॉब्लम
blame
है.
in this regard. I won't blame only to the pet
हम्म.
parents. See, patients will automatically build
हम्म.
Shruti if they start seeing the changes. The problem
Results,
is
yeah,
if
true,
I'm prescribing something which is not bringing up the changes for months, obviously they'll start losing the confidence and
true,
the
yeah,
patients will automatically start falling
yeah.
down. If an expert is able to show the difference within a week or something, immediately the confidence and the patience will boost up of the
Hmm.
pet parent. This also factor pitches in. So I won't only say that the parents lose the patience. The problem is if anyone doesn't see the results, they'll start losing the patience.
True. Yeah. This was like ये एक बहुत ही recurring question था, because I have seen like many people have posted that my dog is anxious, like the walks are really tough. So yeah, Vaibhav, like you said, आपने puppy behavior के बारे में बताया, like people who are adopting adult dogs, like very, I have huge respect for people like who bring adult dogs, senior dogs in their life. So seniors का चलो we can address later, but like an adult dog, maybe 3 years or 4 years of age, or in that, yeah, 2 to 5 के बीच का. So if they are like having anxiety, because they come from an environment जहाँ पे they are competing with a lot of dogs, not competing exactly, I spoke the wrong word, just being in the presence of a lot of dogs. So many dogs are there, some dogs gel very well, that's again on that dog's personality, but there are some dogs who are as you said, underconfident, timid, and they need that home ka care. So finally they come to a home, but they have like anxiety issues, which they maybe नया environment है तो नहीं adjust कर पा रहे हैं. So what approach should those pet parents? Firstly, so they should definitely, I think anybody who brings a dog home should I want to put this out there, guys, not just कि आप puppy लेके आए हो या आप कोई भी आप कभी भी dog ला रहे हो, सबसे पहला आप session एक behaviorist से लो, because a behaviorist will help you understand your dog, जो आप भी बहुत बार नहीं समझ पाते हो
That's
because you
true.
don't have that experience.
I
So,
mean, uh, before adopting an adult, please consult an expert. Please share your challenges, what kind of personality you are expecting, whether you are really have so much of time and effort to help a anxious dog, or basically it should not come as a surprise to you. So you should definitely connect to an expert before getting a adult dog, and immediately after there has to be certain agreement between the person who is helping for the adoption and the parents, as to foster the puppy, at least foster the pet for at least 3 to 4 weeks, so that they see the real challenges of the pet, whether they'll be able to do the justice with that life or not. And if they are not able to do the justice, uh, don't get too emotional in sending back the pet, because if you are not able to do the justice to the pet will not be happy, you will not be happy, and nobody will achieve anything. So to help, you need to have preset mind of what you are getting, and be ready to face those challenges. If you are not ready to face those challenges and it is coming as a surprise, it is better to take a call and send the dog back for betterment of everyone.
hmm. And even if you're like bringing a dog, and you should be ready to at least put that effort कि एकदम से अरे मेरे से तो नहीं हो रहा वाला चीज
That's
नहीं है,
true.
because again you're bringing a life home, आपको उसके साथ justice करना चाहिए in whichever way possible. So yeah, that's one thing. So I think we'll move to the next question. So then somebody has asked, what are the signs of stress in a dog? Like how can we identify? Because many times हम समझ ही नहीं पाते हैं कि मतलब क्या बोलना चाह रहा है, कि हम कभी कभी सोचते रहे तो सैड है मेरा डॉग, इतना सैड क्यों है. बिकॉज आई थिंक पीपल, मतलब मुझे भी कभी कभी लगता था कि ऐसा नहीं, ड्रूपी फेस है अगर तो डॉग क्या सैड बैठा है. तो हाउ डू वी अंडरस्टैंड कि स्ट्रेस्ड है डॉग? व्हाट आर द प्राइमरी साइंस दैट वी कैन एड्रेस?
See, I won't go too much detail into the body language of the dog to define whether the dog could be under stress or not, because anyways, too much of information is already there on Google and parents are getting confused on that. In fact, even I keep on getting the calls from the parents in distress. during certain situations where there was nothing to bother, but then just because they read in Google that this kind of sign is a sign of serious stress in the dog. So I won't add up to their confusions by putting up certain specific body languages to define stress, but very high level, when you see that the dog is behaving unusually, as simple as that. Unusual means the dog is not responding to you as usual. The dog is not walking as usual. The dog is not eating as usual. So, whenever there is something unusual seen in the dog, immediately reach out to the veterinary to confirm whether there is any medical.
Medical, yeah.
Uh,
First
uh,
rule
uh,
out that, huh?
yes. So first has to be ruled out. If the veterinary confirms that everything in terms of health is fine with the pet, then you reach out to the expert and check on certain behaviors. It's very important that you record the videos, because it may be possible that the person that you are reaching out, the veterinary also, then may not be able to understand the real behavior that you are trying to explain. So always try to record it and share it with the expert. So first, immediately reach out to vet if you are really concerned about it. Second, reach out to an expert in with the specification of what unusual you are seeing in the pet. But yes, people reaching out to me, Shruti, trust me, I'm really happy that they are bothered about the puppy's unusual behavior rather than taking it very casually, because it may be me even for uh, uh, medical issues. The question uh, from them was whether we need to be worried about it or not,
Hmm.
and it many times comes out to be that the pet needs medical attention.
Okay, got it.
So,
Yeah.
and in those moments, if we lose the time, if the parent lose the time, it may become more
Hmm.
critical for the pet. So, yes, reach out to an expert. Better not to Google, because it will unnecessarily stress you out. Reach out to a person who knows the dog. It could be an expert, it could be your acquaintance who knows dogs better. But definitely reach out rather than simply Googling it and doing some home remedies in those situations. Important is to see whether the dog is active enough or not. If the dog is seeing lethargic, showing extremely unusual behaviors, yes, reach out, immediately reach out.
Hmm. Like, I think sometimes dogs, they start finding spots to hide also, and if they are in pain, I've seen, because I saw this behavior in Penny, like, when she used to be very stressed, she used to find that spot and start hiding. तो हम समझ जाते थे कि she's not comfortable, and then immediately
Comfortable.
we either called
Correct.
you or the vet की जो भी है.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, this helps. Next, like, I remember you have educated us about this, and it's very important कि जैसा आपने बोला था ना कि if only you are coming and taking sessions and then nothing is being followed after that, so that doesn't help at all. कि वो तो आपके सामने नहीं, एक अच्छा बिहेवियर, एक सही बिहेवियर जो था वो निकल आया, फिर व्हेन यू वेंट द सब इधर उधर का उधर हो गया वापस से. So yeah, this was one question that somebody also asked, and I was very happy कि how do I ensure consistency in training among all family members, and how important is that? कि जैसे हम
Consist
बहुत बार कर देते हैं ना कि हमने तो कर दिया, but if I'm living with like maybe 3-4 people, so everybody should be on that same page.
Correct. So generally for habits, this has to be followed. Means, let's say you don't want your pet to ask you for the food from the dining table. If you don't want your pet to jump on the other humans, uh, these kind of habits, I won't say this is specific behavior, but this becomes an habit of a pet. Generally happens if one or the other family members is encouraging that kind of habit. Okay, so this kind of thing needs consistencies. But then, let's say there are many behaviors. If you talk about any sort of anxieties, that doesn't need consistency. So if I'm walking my dog in the traffic and my wife is not able to do that, doesn't mean that my dog will be anxious when she's walking and will be confident when I'm walking. What I have to make sure is my dog is confident in general
Traffic.
in traffic.
Yeah,
Correct. My
got
dog is in general very confident in meeting dogs. So whether I'm letting him meet the other dogs or my wife is doing it or both of us are doing it, doesn't really matter. But in terms of habits, yes, there has to be consistency. Otherwise, the pet gets confused as in what exactly is
yeah,
expected. So
because
another
उनको
example is
लॉजिक्स तो लगाना नहीं आता है, they know just
correct,
कि
correct, correct, correct. That's true. I mean, let's say the bed is not allowed. no one should encourage that. Yeah, if
True.
the sofa is not allowed, no one should encourage that. But because otherwise, if the pet gets into habit of doing it, unnecessarily, pet has to go into the correction
Hmm.
mode at the later stage to correct that particular habit.
फिर
Better
वो
is
वो
to
फिर से एक स्ट्रेस बन जाता है उसके लिए.
exactly, yes.
Hmm.
It's always good that all the people in the family brainstorm before getting the puppy, set up all the expectation,
Yeah.
mutually decide the list of the things that everyone is expecting, and agree for that. Agree for
Yeah,
that.
so
That
I
helps.
think like if a family is having a session with you for their dog, so or any behaviorist, so I think everybody जो उस घर में रहता है या frequently आता है, they all should be there for the session, or at
Correct.
least they should know कि क्या
Yes, yes.
बात हो रही है.
Best is to
Ground rules.
participate.
हाँ.
Yes, best is to participate because it's few sessions or only the assistance that you need. Because everyone, if they are missing out the sessions, they may not be in line with what has been told during the session,
Hmm.
and then may do certain things which unnecessarily may bring up bad habits in the pet later stage.
Hmm. Okay. So then next question would be how important is relationship building with my dog rather than command based relationship. मतलब सिर्फ commands जरूरी होते हैं कि वो तो हम बात कर ही रहे हैं इतनी देर से कि it's not about the command. So if you can
So
throw some little more.
commands, if I say command-based training is as good as academics in human kids, and behaviors is just how the kid is behaved. Literate doesn't mean good behave. Illiterate doesn't mean bad behave.
True.
Similarly, in pets, good behaved dog doesn't need to respond to sit down, fetch, roll, spin, stay, wait. Yeah.
मेरी बच्ची को दो कमांड आते हैं. Anybody who comes home वो दो दिखा के she's like खत्म मेरा. So
She's
she
happy,
doesn't
you are
know
happy.
like tricks
Correct,
and
correct.
all.
But
They are
still,
fun, but they are not
yes,
like that. Don't signify कि बड़ा perfect
correct.
dog है ऐसा.
Primary comes the behaviors. Like I said, no, even on the roads, you don't see people how much educated they are. What you see is how well behaved the person is. Similarly, for the dogs, no parent would ask how, does your pet knows these kind of commands or not. Just by seeing the behavior of the pet, they decide whether the pet is well behaved or
Yeah.
not. Okay.
And फिर
So
उनका इंटरेक्शन भी वैसा ही हो जाता है. Like even they would want to interact.
correct.
अगर वो comfortable है dog, उसका happy body language है, तो they will be happy to interact with the
That's
dog.
true.
So
That's true.
that's what
So
I
first come
like.
behaviors.
Actually, that's what I've seen also. Like in the society, there are kids and all. So, तो वो भी मतलब if they see like मतलब I'm happy that in this society people have at least educated folks कि हाँ ये ऐसा सा उनको पता है कि अगर dog जैसे tail अंदर है तो मतलब उसके पास मत जाओ. तो I think this is what I was saying कि ये सारे से family में बच्चे हैं तब तो जरूरी सिखाना चाहिए कि नहीं
That's
ये
true. Correct.
होता है.
Correct.
So
Yes.
that everything is merry. Yeah. So then yeah, ये सबसे ज्यादा जो मुझे क्वेश्चन आया था which I think many people are suffering from is grooming anxiety. So इतने मतलब I think 10 या 8-10 लोगों ने मुझसे पूछा है कि my dog is not happy grooming करवाने में, क्योंकि आजकल people ज्यादातर लोग या तो होम ग्रूमर्स बुलाते हैं या फिर उधर लेके जाते हैं
Grooming
ग्रूमिंग प्लेसेस में हफ्ते
centers.
में.
Correct.
तो पीपल मतलब बहुत बार तो होता है कि लाइक ग्लास डोर्स हैं तो आपको दिख रहा है व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, बट वी हैव सीन सो मेनी अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट्स अभी रिसेंट में, जब नहीं कितना कुछ बाप रे खराब आया तो लोगों का फेथ हिल जाता है. तो बट पीपल हु ग्रूम एट होम, सो दे हैव सीन लाइक बहुत बार कि मेरा डॉग मुझे नेल टच नहीं करने दे रहा. तो लाइक ग्रूमिंग एंजाइटी वाज द बिगेस्ट क्वेश्चन इन दैट. So that is what I wanted
Correct.
you to throw some light ki how can we help our dog with that.
Yes. So grooming is never anxiety related to anxiety, Shruti. Grooming is related to discomfort. Okay. Means the pet becomes so uncomfortable with the grooming, uh, or they start hating the experience, that they do try to do everything to not go through that experience again. So this causes extreme level of maybe aggression or certain reactions towards the grooming. Now, what we have to understand is we have to work towards conditioning the pet to the grooming. It's conditioning, not it's not anxiety. It's not anything related to the dog is experiencing any sort of anxiety. It is more of extreme discomfort. Okay, now, first question to every pet parent: just think, even for us in humans, human kid will cry while going to grooming for haircut, simple haircut. The kid will cry. Why the adults don't cry is because we have a motivation to look good. It's not that we it's
Yeah.
not that we enjoy grooming. Grooming is always painful and stressful, unnecessarily burden for humans also. But we like to do it just because there is a motivation to look good. Think about what motivates your pet to look good. Nothing. They would never want to look good. It's only our expectation to maintain their
They
hygiene
want to
and making them
say the
look good.
dirtiest. एकदम काले होके
Correct,
रहना.
correct. Correct. So they don't have any motivation. So
Yeah,
what
true.
generally happens in humans is we force the kid to experience the grooming because we know with the age, once they know that they have to look good, they'll start going to the groomers automatically by themselves. Unfortunately, with the pet, that doesn't happen. And maximum parents, what they do is they force grooming onto the puppy at the early stage. They force. We don't see that the puppy is getting uncomfortable. So what every pet parent have to understand is whenever they introduce grooming to their puppy, it has to be a positive experience. They have to condition the experience to the puppy in a way that next time when I bring up the brush, the puppy has to be happy tail wagging coming to me rather than running away just by looking the comb. The problem is if the puppy runs away, we force and we forcefully do the grooming further rather than conditioning, rather than understanding that it may be paining the puppy. If parents keep in mind this particular factor, no puppy will grow up to a dog to hate the grooming. Okay. Second, if any parent is consulting or taking the services of any groomer, what they have to understand is whether the groomer is doing the good job in terms of grooming, or does he or she is making the experience of the pet also great for grooming. How to make sure that is next time when I take my puppy or the pet to the groomer, whether the puppy is happy to see the groomer or trying to escape that situation. If latter
तो
is
मतलब
the
हमें भी
situation,
साइंस साइंस
yes,
समझने चाहिए ये
yes,
कि
this is the sign. See,
हाँ.
puppies will always give passive signs. Passive means trying to run away, trying to avoid that experience, uh, which grows up to active reactions, especially aggressions by the pet if it is not addressed at the early stage. Got it. So
Yeah.
very important for the pet parent is to make sure that the puppy's experience for the grooming is good. They shouldn't be ignoring the discomfort of the puppy towards this experience.
Got it. So मतलब your involvement should always be there. Groomer भी है तो भी you should understand कि
Yes, you have to at
जो
least
dog
see
है
whether the
आपका वो
puppy
कैसा
is.
feel कर रहा है या
Yes, next time when you take him to the groomer, him or her, how the puppy is reacting, how the puppy is behaving after coming out from the grooming. Because I can understand there are certain constraints for the groomers not to do this grooming, these kind of groomings in front of the parents, which is very well agreed. But then at least the parent can see how the puppy is behaving or the pet is behaving after coming out from the groomer. And next time when you take the puppy to the groomer, is he or she happy to go inside the grooming center or just avoiding or resisting it?
got it. Yeah. So next question that we have is how to control demand barking. Like excessive barking is a very big problem in dogs. I know beagle parents would agree here, but like I have seen like many dogs, they just get they resort to barking for like very smallest of things, or
Correct.
demand barking, and they're very like
Correct.
barky. So how do you say that how much should be encouraged and what is like natural and what is unnatural, and how do we fix this? Because I have seen like there are many times people say that my dog barks so much and at odd hours that neighbors complain कर देते हैं या ऐसा कुछ होता है.
Correct.
खैर neighbors का तो मतलब क्या है वो आप मेजर नहीं कर सकते, बट आपको कितना मतलब
But
लग रहा है
then,
कि ये एक्सेसिव हो रहा है और ये नॉर्मल है, तो वो डिफरेंस कैसे समझेंगे हम?
so basically, if you see that dog is doing a demand bark, first of all, from if a parent understand that it's a demand bark from the puppyhood, the parent, the least that they can do it is ignore. Say, puppy won't bark to the level where it may bring up a lot of discomfort to the parent or the neighbors. So from the puppyhood itself, what they have to encourage is to at least ignore the barks of the puppy. What generally happens is, by losing the patience, we tend to give the attention to the parent or to the pet who is barking for certain demands, and many times we fulfill that demand also. So addressing this problem at any stage has the same solution. You have to ignore. Either you ignore at the puppyhood and be peaceful rest of the age. Otherwise, try to ignore at later stage when the pup has grown up to an adult. Uh, Practically, it is impossible to ignore the barking of a dog who has extreme level of demand, knowing that his demand would be met by the parents ultimately when they lose the patience. Uh, I cannot prescribe a verbal correction to this kind of behavior if it is going out of control, but there are certain ways. Definitely, you need to reach out to, or the parents need to reach out to an expert to find a solution if this is going out of the control and becoming bit chaotic in day-to-day life.
So I think again that's like that proves a point जिसके वजह से हमने सेशन किया था कि ये सब कुछ केस टू केस बेसिस होता है बहुत बार. इट इज लाइक अलग अलग डॉग्स के पर्सनालिटीज होते हैं, तो कुछ डॉग्स जैसे आपने बोला ना अंडर कॉन्फिडेंट है तो उनको अलग तरीका है उनका बिहेवियर करेक्ट कराने का. देयर आर सम डॉग्स हु आर कॉन्फिडेंट एंड वेरी बोल्ड, सो उनका अलग तरीका है. बट मतलब ये है
बिल्कुल.
कि यू शुड रीच आउट टू एन एक्सपर्ट इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट रैंडमली googling
That is
stuff, and general
again,
advice पे नहीं जाना चाहिए. ये है.
see, if the parents are addressing it at the puppyhood stage, it is very easy. And puppyhood stage, I mean until 5-6 months of age. Just keep on ignoring the demand barking; it won't develop into the habit. But if you keep on giving, in fact, parents even shouldn't be saying no to the pet to bark. Just let the puppy bark, because the puppy will bark for a while. It is as good as a kid crying for a pizza. Let the kid cry. I mean, the kid will may cry for
ये
some
तो
time and then,
Vaibhav, you have like Sumit and I would agree. We have made this mistake with Penny कि नहीं क्यूट है और अरे रो रही है तो उसने ना बार्किंग नहीं रिजॉर्ट किया है. शी इज वेरी इंटेलिजेंट. शी हैज टेकन वाइनिंग. मतलब वो करके
okay,
शी
yes,
स्टार्ट्स वाइनिंग एंड वो एकदम हमारे मुंह के पास आके मतलब जितना पास आ सकती है शी डज इट. So she doesn't bark, but she whines. अब तो बहुत
right,
कम हो गया because we followed this same thing कि हमने एकदम
ignorance,
strict होके मतलब इग्नोर करना स्टार्ट किया and we have seen a difference. Like she'll do it. Maybe पहले जैसे वो नहीं 5 मिनट तक करती रहती थी
correct,
कि whine करेगी फिर हाउल करेगी, तो it has reduced significantly. Like maybe 2 बार करेगी फिर बैठ जाएगी वहां पे, but she will not whine and ultimately she'll go. सो ये हम अचीव कर पाए. बट अगेन आई सेड कि क्योंकि नाउ शी इज एन अडल्ट तो हमने अब ये चीज स्टार्ट करी है जो हमारी गलती है. बट एनीवे मेनी पीपल आर
difficult
लाइक
होता
ब्रिंगिंग
है.
अडल्ट डॉग्स. तो
And
जिस भी स्टेज से आप स्टार्ट करो आपको बस पेशेंस रख के करना पड़ेगा
like I
क्योंकि
said,
ये
if it is getting out of control, yes, there are techniques, but those are more professionally applied techniques for which parents has to know how to do it, whether they are comfortable going ahead with those corrections. But yes, this also can be sorted out, even at the later stage.
या सो वही मतलब यू हैव टू कंसिस्टेंटली वर्क ऑन दिस. एंड सबको जो भी जितने भी हैं फैमिली में दे हैव टू कीप अ स्ट्रॉन्ग गार्ड कि नहीं इस चीज को करेक्ट करना है तो एवरीबॉडी हैज टू बी ऑन द सेम पेज एंड
Work correct,
हेल्प विद इट.
true, yes.
क्योंकि मैं नहीं दे रही हूँ कोई और आके दे रहा है
Then
कि मांग रही है करके
correct,
तो फिर
correct. Then
पूरा
the
जीरो हो
it
जाता है.
gets into that
So this
habit.
was the
True.
problem we faced when like my parents and all were here. तो you know how parents are. तो
Yes.
वही हमारा मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट फेज था जिसकी वजह से ये मतलब डाइनिंग टेबल पे चढ़ के she started doing all that. So we are working on that. So but yeah, we have seen improvement definitely because
Correct,
we are
correct.
very strict now and very consistent with it.
Good.
So that is
Good.
what people like. I saw some comment like, how do we correct an adult dog? I think consistency is the key and ignorance
Adult
is something we
dog,
have to
see
work
any
on.
problem with the adult dog, better to reach
Oh
out
my
to an
god,
expert.
did you hear? She started
Yeah, yeah,
again.
yeah.
Penny, यही बात हो रही है मेरी लाइफ पे. Prove
Why
कर
you are
रही
not
है.
giving me the attention since so long?
Yeah,
So
so
for
she does
any
it mainly for attention and obviously for
attention,
food because,
correct,
but
correct, correct.
mainly attention के लिए she does it.
For adults, for your audience, Shruti, for adults, please reach out to an expert because based on a lot of factors, the solution has to be prescribed. It cannot be something that can be verbally told or can be read on Google. It has to be one-to-one solution in specific to the problem that you are encountering with the pet.
Because I think many times we don't even get to know कि क्या trigger हो सकता है जिसकी वजह से the dog is
That's true.
constantly barking या
Correct.
whining.
Correct, correct.
So
It could be some distress.
yeah,
It could
some
be anything. Yes. So
discomfort, some
yes.
trigger, and so some discomfort or trigger that might be causing. क्योंकि मैंने देखा है some people like उनको बड़ा cute लगता है कि वो मेरा dog, मतलब I have seen people कि बहुत बाक हो
Yes.
रहा है but they are like unfazed about it and they think कि उसकी personality का part है, but I don't think that is, maybe कभी कभी हो सकता है but that
Correct.
only like if you take help then you will get to know
Correct.
कि
Correct. It is
ये
as good as
natural है या part है personality का या एक
it has to be
issue है
addressed.
जिसको हम
That's
address
true.
करना है.
Yes, yes. We do the same with the veterinary. I mean, if we see something unusual, reach out to the veterinary. It may be possible that this is all normal, and at least we are confirmed that there is no problem with the pet. So yes, better is to address it rather than ignore it.
ओके सो हाँ, एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था, ये मैंने ऐड किया था क्योंकि मुझे भी इसके बारे में इंसाइट चाहिए था. मुझे भी इतना आइडिया नहीं है कि देर आर सम टाइम्स पीपल से कि मतलब मेरा डॉग तो हस्की को देख के भौंकता है, माय डॉग सीज अ रिट्रीवर या बीगल को देखता है या इंडी को देखता है तो सिर्फ तभी अग्रेसिव हो जाता है या रिएक्टिव हो जाता है इफ नॉट अग्रेसिव. तो हाउ ट्रू इज दिस, लाइक dogs, do they understand breed? I don't think they understand breeds. Like what is it कि एक specific type of dog को देख के they start showing certain behavior जो कि बाकी नहीं निकलता है. तो I have seen many people saying this, तो वही मुझे थोड़ा आपसे पूछना था that how does this work in the dog world?
Correct. So this is very true. I mean, and very common in many pets where they have certain reactions to specific breeds. See, breed-wise, how exactly dog world differs is just the looks. Yeah, different
Size
breed
and
looks. Yes, different breed, different looks. So for that specific look, there could be certain discomfort or feeling threatened in certain pets based on either no exposure or bad exposures. Yeah,
मतलब कोई एक
these
इंसिडेंट अगर हुआ हो कभी.
correct. It could be no incidents also, but then lack of exposures. So let's say if my dog has never met a Shih Tzu, uh, the dog meets a Shih Tzu, definitely the dog may react unusually. And when it is unusual reaction, it could be running away from the dog, it could be barking at the dog, it could be charging at the dog. Okay, but
Okay.
then it shows that that particular pet is not comfortable seeing that particular breed. And generally, again, most of the cases, it is due to lack of socializing. By the way, socializing, just to bring up this point, socializing is exposure with a positive experience. So it's not only exposure. If my dog is meeting any other breed on a regular basis, but that particular breed is bullying my dog all the time, it's a negative exposure. He'll become
True.
unsocial towards that breed.
Got it.
So
Got it.
it has to be exposure with a positive experience. So let's say if my dog has been charged by a German Shepherd, he may start disliking all the German
True.
Shepherds. So
मतलब ये एक्चुअली आपने सही बोला. मैं बोलना ही चाह रही थी कि आई थिंक ये एक बहुत बड़ा नोशन होता है जो मैंने देखा है विच हैज, मतलब पेनी के साथ बहुत बुरा हो चुका है इस वजह से कि देयर आर सम पेट पेरेंट्स हु थिंक कि जैसे मेरा डॉग एक एक्स डॉग आ रहा है एंड फाइट हो गया, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो गया, तो हम बार बार मिलाते रहेंगे उनको तो वो दोस्ती हो जाएगी. तो ये मैंने बहुत बार देखा है एंड दिस हैपेंड विद पेनी एंड शी गॉट वेरी बैडली बिट. एंड वो यही हुआ था कि दैट पर्टिकुलर पेरेंट, सो द डॉग वाज नॉट फ्रेंडली, सो द शी वाज आल्सो फीमेल, तो फीमेल फीमेल वाला चीज भी था. सो मतलब पेनी वाज इग्नोरिंग बिकॉज वी वर इन द लेक एनवायरमेंट, तो वो ज्यादा बिजी थी स्निफिंग एंड ऑल में. तो दैट डॉग बोथ वर ऑन लीश, सो दैट डॉग वाज कॉन्स्टेंटली, मतलब दूर से ही ग्राउल हो रहा था, तो आई वाज कॉन्स्टेंटली ड्रैगिंग पेनी अवे. तो आई डोंट नो व्हाट दैट पेट पेरेंट did not understand, और मे बी उसको भी वही मिसइन्फॉर्मेशन था जो भी था. शी स्टार्टेड, और उसने बोला ये चीज हमसे कि अरे शायद मिलाती रहूंगी अभी तो दोस्ती हो जाएगी. तो आई वाज लाइक ऐसे नहीं होता है. मतलब कि यू आर जस्ट, एज यू सेड, दैट कॉन्स्टेंटली वो एक्सपोजर होता गया, एंड अल्टीमेटली शी जस्ट held Penny, and then Penny held her, and
Okay.
because she's a timid chota sa dog, and
Correct,
that was a
correct,
big dog, so
correct.
she got very badly bit. So this is something that I would like you to talk about,
So,
because ये बहुत common है कि people think कि अरे उसका डॉग तो नॉर्मल है ना, मेरा डॉग थोड़ा सा रिएक्टिव है, बट उसका हैप्पी है तो ये कराते हैं तो दोस्ती हो जाएगी. एंड दिस इज वेयर ऑल हेल ब्रेक्स लूज, एंड आई हैव सीन मैक्सिमम फाइट्स हैपन, एंड अल्टीमेटली
correct.
दोनों डॉग्स का एक्सपीरियंस खराब हो जाता है.
So, to this, Shruti, couple of pointers. One is the pet parent has to recall who they hate the most in their life, that person. And by meeting that person, they should become friend to that person. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Taste of your own medicine.
correct. So, I mean, if I hate to see a person, how can I go and meet that person, be
Exactly.
one to one with that person?
Yeah.
Obviously, that will aggravate, that may aggravate the situation. So, there's no point letting two dogs come face to face. They are not comfortable. It's okay. There could be likes and dislikes in their own ways. We shouldn't be
Exactly.
pushing, just like we don't push. If I'm not happy meeting certain friend and my wife is, I may ask her to go and join the gathering, but I'll definitely ignore to avoid that interaction. So why to push the dog to be friendly with every other dog, especially if the
True.
parents are friendly? Why to expect that the pets also has to be friends? Second, if it is related to aggression, any behavior or any reaction related to aggression, please don't take a chance, because one episode, like you said, Shruti,
Yeah.
in your case, one episode may flip the personality of the dog
True.
just
So
because
yeah, that's what we were very lucky that it didn't, क्योंकि
it
हमें
didn't
लगा था
happen.
उसके बाद से
Correct.
तो खत्म काम. अब Penny will like
Start
growl या show some
hating all
negativity,
the
but
dogs. Correct.
yeah, but luckily that didn't happen. But yes, मतलब I was so furious कि this is not the right attitude, and to people, all those of you who have joined and who are hearing, please don't let anybody do this to your dog, and don't do that to any other dog, that because your dog is not friendly, and but you want them to become friendly, तो आप वो एक negative interaction करवाते जाओगे, and वो बहुत
It
बुरा,
will
it is
worsen the
disastrous for
situation.
both the dogs,
Correct.
for
Correct.
both the dogs.
And like I said, no one episode, let's say she got bitten or attacked by the other dog, she may become unsocial towards that particular breed
True.
or to all the dogs. Okay, so rather than taking that chance, just accept the fact that there could be likes and dislikes in the dog. If one dog is not liking the other dog, don't push them to change the perception towards the other dog. There's no point doing it. Neither we would like someone to force us to do that in our life. So better is to give
So
them that respect. And
is there like a way, like suppose this has happened unfortunately, and ये disliking आ गई है towards a particular breed or type of dog, तो is it like fixable, या are there methods कि at least reduce हो जाए, या इतना ऐसा एकदम
okay, so I'll
वैसा
tell
क्या?
you what would be the very high level solution to this, and then you judge whether this is practically possible or not. So, if my dog has been bitten by or attacked by German Shepherd, let's say, okay, I have to make my dog meet so many new German Shepherds
True.
with a positive experience,
Every
that the bad
single
experience gets
experience should
washed
be
out.
positive.
Correct. So let's say one bad experience and he needs to meet 100 new German Shepherds with a positive experience. Where will you find those dogs? As
True.
simple as that. Got it. So because we cannot recreate those situations to kind of dilute the bad experience of our pet, practically it becomes impossible. Hypothetically, yes, it is possible. Hypothetically possible. Practically extremely difficult, if not impossible.
So
So better
I
is to
think
avoid
best,
that. Best
best
is to
would be to
avoid.
just avoid, and
Yeah,
I
why
mean
to force?
हर, so I think can we like इस चीज में हम क्या कंक्लूड कर सकते हैं कि every behavior cannot be fixed, some can just be managed, or we
Yeah,
have to live with that.
yeah, it has to be managed. We cannot fix all the behaviors. In behavioral consulting, like I said, no, it's a mutual thing. Parent also have to understand the dog's world. We cannot expect the dogs to do everything that we are expecting.
Yeah.
So we have to understand their world. For an example, a unneutered male dog will have fights with other male dogs. It cannot be fixed.
Okay.
It cannot be fixed. You have to avoid it. female to female, unspayed female to female fights are very common. If the fight happens, you cannot expect that the dogs will in future will become fine unless spayed. So there are certain behaviors which we have to understand from their species instinct
Hmm.
and set up our expectations accordingly.
Yeah. मतलब भैया you have to be in sync with your dog and mainly we have to understand them more
Correct.
क्योंकि they तो definitely whatever we exhibit they try their best but we have to like मैंने वही बोला ना people like to dictate कि अब मेरा dog ऐसे करेगा अब ऐसे क्यों नहीं कर रहा है मतलब this comparison ना I have
No,
मुझे
no, no, no.
पागल हो जाता है कि people if they will see Penny very happy and playful in the story तो उनको लगेगा कि मेरा भी तो
उनका
बीगल है वो
पेट क्यों
क्यों
नहीं
नहीं है
करता?
ऐसा तो
जी
वो
जी
क्यों नहीं
जी
कर
जी
रहा है
जी।
तो वो लेके जाएंगे फिर नेगेटिव और वो
करेक्ट
पूरा
करेक्ट।
खराब हो जाता है तो दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट पीपल टू अंडरस्टैंड विया योर वर्ड दैट मतलब इट इज नेवर जेनरिक फॉर डॉग्स कि ये डॉग ऐसा कर रहा है तो ये तो करे क्यों नहीं कर रहा है ऐसा जस्ट बिकॉज ब्रीड सेम है ऐसे नहीं होता है सो वही
दैट्स ट्रू।
एक्सपोजर जैसे आपने बोला सोशलाइजेशन एक्सपोजर desensitization all these things play a very important part.
Bring up the best in your pet, and for certain things, agree to the fact that your pet cannot be doing everything that the other pet is doing. So
And don't expose them उन situations में फिर वैसा
there's no problem. Yeah, there's no point.
okay आई थिंक ज्यादातर तो यही ग्रूमिंग एंजाइटी और यही था ब्रीड वाला भी था कि नहीं मेरा किसी ने मतलब लिखा कि मेरा बीगल हस्की से नहीं करता किसी ने लिखा मेरा हस्की इंडी से नहीं करता किसी ने लिखा मेरा इंडी ऐसे तो मतलब डिफरेंट डिफरेंट कॉम्बिनेशन थे बट वही
Correct.
मुझे भी जानना था कि इज दिस रियली अ थिंग एंड यू हैव वेरीफाइड दैट फॉर अस थैंक यू सो so one question is like while training treats based training कितना important होता है and what is positive reinforcement training.
So training, like what we discussed earlier, training is to train them to do something, sit down, fetch, roll, spin, stay, wait. It has to be done by positive reinforcement. Treats are mandatory. What I would generally suggest the parent is to never stop giving the treats throughout their life, for keep on reinforcing the commands. It has to be kept on going. If anyone opens up any dog shows with certain dog doing certain things based on the handler's command, even during those periods the dog is being offered the treats. So why do you think your dog should not be doing it, or doing it without the treat? So treat is just rewarding them to do something which you have asked them to do. There's nothing wrong and you have to do it. 10% of the time, you if you don't have the treats and you use the command and dog respond, will not make much difference in terms of his trust, his or her trust. I'll give you an example. So let's say I start training my dog for come command. I think so. There is a question about come command also. Uh, any sort of command is extremely easy to train. Use a treat, call the dog, offer him the treat, him or her the treat, and don't do anything apart from offering the treat after the pet comes to you. Why? Because the pet should see that after coming to the handler or the parent, the pet is getting the treat, but no freedom is being snatched. Never buckle your pet back when the pet responds to come command. Okay. This actually is real training in which you train the dog for different command. I mean, come is this way. There are a lot of other commands which you can train for to your pet, but always make sure that your pet shouldn't see anything that they are losing in their life. Means if the pet is coming to you, the freedom of the pet shouldn't be snatched by putting him or her on the buckle. So if you practice or reinforce any command 90% of the time without snatching or without taking away anything from the pet's life, rest 10% of the time, if you do it, they won't mind it. I'll just give you an example. I go to a play park with my pet, for an example. I go to play park with my pet and call in 10 times back to me. But every time my pet is coming, I'll just offer him or her the treat and let the dog go back and enjoy whatever he or she was doing earlier. On 11th time, if I call and put the buckle, they won't mind it because 10 times they have seen that this person has rewarded without snatching out anything from their life. But let's say 10 out of 10 times, if I call my dog, buckle, take back, call my dog, buckle, take back, 11th time, and in ever in future my dog is not never going to come to me. So
Hmm.
remember, 90% is just training and reinforcement. 10% of the time you can utilize those command in the real situation where you don't have the treats, and you may have to uh, put or take out something from your pet's life.
Matlab something
Is this
that is high value for them. So that way.
Yes, so high value has to be rewarded or used 90% of the time.
Hmm.
10% you can take a chance to not give it to them. But yes, treats are mandatory for any trainings,
Hmm.
uh, especially while reinforcing it and throughout their life. It's not that you train the dog and you stop rewarding them, because they'll stop responding to your commands later.
Okay. Yeah, one more question was like travel anxiety. So there are many dogs who are not comfortable traveling a lot, or maybe even an auto ride is very causing anxiety to them or causing stress to them. So how can this be dealt with? And like not just like for puppies, so we know that we start the training from an early age, but like if the dog already has developed, or sometimes I've seen कि अचानक से भी develop हो जाता है, मे बी कोई एक bad experience हो गया हो कि roll कर गए या कुछ कर गए, तो how
Correct,
can
correct.
that be fixed?
So especially for travel anxieties, Shruti, very important is to start exposing the pet with shorter rides. If
Hmm.
it is car, auto, lift, car, auto, scooter things, start with smaller rides, and if possible, start with no rides. Means, let's say the dog is not comfortable going into the auto ride or car ride, just get the first step should be making them comfortable inside the auto when the auto is not moving.
Hmm.
Get the dog comfortable inside the car when the car is not moving. Means start building up the trust that when they come inside the car, nothing will change and they can go out without feeling any anxiety or the stress.
Hmm.
Uh, First thing that we have to understand is why travel anxieties, why car, auto, and scooter anxiety comes in pets is because for them, whenever they are sitting in these vehicles, for them, vehicle is not moving, it is the earth which is moving. Moving earth is a sign of disaster, earthquake. So they feel very scared of their life when they're sitting in these vehicles. So to start rebuilding the trust or the confidence in these vehicles, first what they have to understand is when they sit in this vehicle, every time the earth will not move.
Hmm.
So get them inside. Start with this particular step to get them inside. uh, no need to move the vehicle. This Once you achieve this step, you have to start slowly by moving the vehicles in a slow pace with no much of bumps coming into the ride, and gradually increasing the time of the ride. So it will be very slow process. If the pet starts eating the treat in those experiences, means the dog is showing significant improvement in the anxiety. If the
Hmm.
dog is not eating the treat, don't go to the next stage. Continue with the current stage. Means if the pet is not eating the treat when the vehicle is stagnant, no need to start moving the vehicle.
मतलब एक
First, reach
एक
out
स्टेज में आप
एक
कंफर्टेबल करते
stage,
जाओ.
and to validate whether the pet is overcome the fear to extremes is by seeing the pet starts eating the treat. If the pet is eating the treat, means big milestone has been achieved for that particular stage, and the parent can go to the next level where it the ride could be a bit longer. The ride could be in more bumpy roads, this kind of experience, but it has to be extremely slow, and the parents needs to have a lot of patience to continue overcome helping the pet overcoming this fear.
Okay. Uh, yeah, one question was, which I think we've already addressed, but maybe in a line or two, you can tell that my dog doesn't play with other dogs. What to do?
That's a personality. If he or she is not disturbing other dog,
Ah.
the dog is well socialized.
Hmm.
With the age, automatically most of the dogs tends to do this.
Hmm.
Uh, if the dog has an introvert personality, they won't like to play along with other pets. It's very
Hmm.
normal. Don't see it as something very unusual. One important thing is if your dog is not disturbing others, not troubling others for no reason, he or she is well socialized. You don't have to put more efforts to make sure that the dog is playing with other dogs. That
मतलब वही जो एक नहीं बहुत नोशन बना हुआ है कि डॉग्स मतलब खेलते ही हैं ऐसे करके तो दैट
with the
इज
age, every dog stops playing.
या
So there is nothing unusual about
so
it.
this is yeah, this was one. Yeah, and how to ensure the dog doesn't scavenge on walks. Like there were 2 3 questions of that. Ki my dog has a habit of constantly picking things up from the road and eating during the walks. So like they have to मतलब वो बहुत परेशान हो जाते हैं कि कैसे स्टॉप करें एंड फिर अगर वो बहुत चिल्ला देते हैं तो वो नहीं एक स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन बन जाता है तो
Correct.
how should this be addressed?
See, if the dog is picking up edible things, technically you cannot expect a scavenger to not behave like a scavenger. Okay, so it is expecting killing of the deep natural instinct of a dog. It cannot be. It has to be managed. If the dog is picking up non-edible things from the street and then swallowing it, it's an initial sign or it's an early sign of resource guarding, which again parents need to address by consulting a professional, because if the dog is eating something that is not edible, or especially when parents try to remove and the dog is swallowing, it's a passive sign of resource guarding, needs professional assistance. If the dog is eating something which is edible, you leash is there to stop him or her at the right time. Just make sure that if something is lying on the street which you think your pet can pick up, try to take a detour and keep him or her away from that subject. But then expecting that the dog should not pick it up, too difficult.
Makes sense. Okay, Vaibhav, I think we have addressed all the questions. There were a few others as well, but they I think they've already been answered. So we are done with all the questions. I'm just seeing whether if somebody has a question here. Yeah. One is she is aggressive at times and tries to bite. I don't know why. Like while applying medicine or balm on her paws. I think वही grooming वाला चीज जो था.
That could be again sign of extreme discomfort. Parent has to see if they can distract the dog and do this act. Distracting could be using the treat. Distracting could be while going out for the walks. If the dog likes to go out for the walk, uh, they can go out, take the dog out for the walk with the spray or the ointment to be applied, and see if they can keep the dog distracted with lot of things in outdoors and apply it. Don't apply in the whole portion at one go. Do it in quick modes, and it could be multiple times doing it rather than one intense applying of the ointment. So and if it has reached to the level where it has become extremely difficult to apply it, I think so again reaching out to an expert would be, because many times this becomes to point of no return. If the dog is biting very hard in those situations, we may sometimes have to use physical force to do these kind of medications. But yes, definitely reaching out to an expert may at least help the parents to understand the intensity of the problem and take the right call.
So, and what are like the common signs that the dog is resource guarding? Like food aggression, we know, like if the dog is
Resource
eating, but
guarding.
resource guarding, what could be? Because many things, people think they are quirks or something, but they could be indicating like a serious issue. So, what about resource guarding?
So, resource guarding generally when the puppy doesn't have the confidence or the trust on the humans, that if the human would take something from their jaw, whether they'll give it back or not. Uh, Dog to dog resource guarding cannot be fixed. Yeah. Any dog approaching the other dog when the other dog is having something in the jaw is always to snatch. So that's very normal. We don't have to really work upon fixing dog to dog resource guarding. Dog to human resource guarding, yes, it has to be addressed. Uh, parents has to see that during puppyhood, if the puppy is not really comfortable giving something from the jaw, trying to run away, trying to close the jaw very tight, go into the hiding. These are the sign of passive resource guarding, which may develop into active resource guarding at the later stage. What are active resource guarding is growling, snarling, snapping, and biting. So the moment parent at the initial stage during the puppyhood, when they notice that the puppy is not comfortable leaving the things from the jaw, that's the initial sign of resource guarding. If the parents of an adult dog are encountering resource guarding, by the way, resource guarding also includes dog swallowing the things. If the dog can, I mean, if the subject is small, they start swallowing it also. It's a passive resource guarding. If these kind of things are being shown by the adult dog, again, because certain aggressions are shown by many dogs, I would recommend reaching out to an expert, because I don't want to recommend something over the session which may cause further damage to the parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. But resource guarding, very commonly seen in my experience, 80% of the male dog in Bangalore are showing resource guarding.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe because
Because
of a lot of, yeah,
initial ignorance of passive resource guarding that
true.
develop, gets, and there have been few cases again in my experience where the dog has to be given up just because of resource guarding. The parents couldn't manage the dog
So it
with that level of
became to that bad
yes, yes,
extent, yeah.
yes. So severe biting had happened inside the house, and the parents couldn't take further risk by having a human kid at home along with resource guarding pet, and they had to give up the dog.
Okay, Vaibhav. One question was there on separation anxiety also. I think that also people need to work with some general suggestions that you can, because
Resource,
the person is
okay, separation
the
anxiety.
yeah,
Hmm.
someone is saying that I've been struggling with teaching my beagle how to stay at home alone. We've tried everything, including getting suggestions from a dog behavioral therapist, but without much success. It's been close to 1.5 years. Any advice? My dog has separation anxiety.
Okay, so separation anxiety is where the dog doesn't have the confidence that when the parents have left, whether they'll come back or not. This causes the separation anxiety. There is one more factor, separation discomfort. Separation discomfort is just like human kids, where when the pet is being left alone inside the house and everyone is moving out, the pet feels really bad about being left over. First, the parent has to understand. Is she hearing my dog?
And he's responding to Mowgli.
Yeah. So first, parent has to understand whether it is anxiety or separation discomfort. How to evaluate that is whether the pet eats something when left alone. Let's say I
Okay.
spill the treats and leave the place, whether the dog is reacting after eating the treat or leaves the treat. If the dog is leaving the treat, it is separation anxiety. If it is after eating the treat, the dog is reacting, it is separation discomfort. For separation discomfort, it's extremely easy to manage. You don't have to fix it. It will get automatically fixed with the age. There are certain ways to leave the dog. Those, if you follow those rituals, it becomes easy to manage the separation discomfort, which is when I'm talking about when the puppy or when the pet eats the treat and then reacts. If the pet is not eating in the absence of parents, then it's a sign of separation anxiety. Separation anxiety, to fix it, we need to work upon rebuilding the confidence when the pet parents leave, whether they'll come back or not. There are certain exercises. In my experience, uh, 80% of the male dog has shown uh, extreme or significant improvement in separation anxiety. Females take more time, but again, one of my worst case was with the beagle. It was a female, wasn't comfortable staying even for 2 seconds when left alone. I think so. Parents put the effort for 8 months. They were not in touch with me. They came back on their own, proactively on their own, and then informed that after 8 months, she is now comfortably staying alone for hours. So separation anxiety also can be fixed. Needs a lot of time and effort, but 1.5 years is too long if the parents were putting a lot of efforts to fix it. Again, if certain exercises are not working on, uh, try to change those exercises by reaching out to new professionals rather than giving up
Yeah.
to that problem.
And I think the one very important point, Vaibhav, that you had already told about is that, like, I think exhausting the dog before leaving them home. They should not be in an excited state when you leave them alone.
That
So,
helps to reduce
yeah.
discomfort. If the
Okay.
dog has anxiety, irrespective of how tired the dog is, see, basically, anxiety is a state of mind where the dog doesn't know whether the dog will be able to survive that situation.
Hmm.
Means it's a life and death situation.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how much you get the dog tired, the dog will react. So, if it is anxiety,
Hmm.
tiredness, calmly leaving, all this helps to reduce the discomfort, but not
Hmm.
anxiety. So if
Okay.
it is anxiety, like I said, there are certain exercises to rebuild the confidence in the pet, that when left alone, parents will come back, because
Hmm.
pet or dog as a species cannot leave alone.
Hmm.
So again, certain traits coming from the dog as a species has to be understood by the parent. The exercises that they, or the practices that they are following, they have to be psychologically involved in those exercises rather than mechanically doing it just because an expert has told. Because the dog, initially we talked, right, can the dog understand our emotions? So yes, there's, if you're not applying those exercises, uh, uh, being more involved psychologically, the dog knows it's all mechanical exercise, they won't respond well. It has to be more psychological rather than simply mechanical exercises or practices.
True. Okay, Vaibhav, I think we have like taken this too far in the time
That's
perspective,
okay.
but I'm so happy. Like it was such an interactive session. I'll just see if there is any other question that we have not addressed. I think we've addressed almost everything. Just let me just 1 minute. It's a long chat. So, okay. I think we have spoken in such length that most of the things have been covered.
That's good to know.
So, yeah, something about what happened? What happened? Oh, sorry. Yeah, so something about like leash reactivity, if you can tell, like how does that happen? Like some dogs are like only leash reactive. They're not reactive when they're, the leash is taken off. They're very normal dogs, but on leash they have a very different behavior. So if you can address that and like,
The
uh,
maximum dog Shruti will react when they are on the leash
hmm,
or if the parents are in their surrounding.
okay,
Yeah. Most of the pet. Why that happens is because dog is a pack animal.
hmm,
Whenever they have the backup of the pack, they tend to react.
hmm,
Without the pack, no dog will react. Okay.
hmm,
So uh, because on the leash, they get more confidence and the backup of the parent, they tend to react.
hmm,
Uh, Leash reactivity, if it is being addressed at the early stage, again, it helps to sort out the problem. But then there are a lot of cases in which leash reactivity, it has to be managed. We have to keep the dog away from certain stimulus which may cause the leash reactivity. But many times, a dog reaching out to other people out of excitement, also I have seen parents calling it as leash reactivity, which is not the fact.
hmm, hmm,
Leash reactivity is where uh, whenever on the leash, they tend to get bit aggressive. They get into the rage towards new dog, new human, or maybe other species. Uh, shouldn't be ignored. It can become a critical case with the age. By 2 to 3 years, generally, there is uh, a steep that comes in this particular behavior. Better is to address it at the early stage. This also comes, I'll tell you, this also comes because of the lack of confidence of the parent to expose their pet to the other pet.
hmm,
If I'm being nervous, my dog will get to know that the parent is being nervous for me to get exposed. This nervousness also automatically passes on to the dog. The dog knows if the pet, if the parents are nervous, means there is something wrong with the dog or the person, and then they start reacting. So it's very important from the early stage. Keep on exposing your pet to new dog, new human, so that, see, it will never ever happen that my dog was all okay until now, until today, and tomorrow he starts attacking every dog.
hmm.
That doesn't
True.
happen.
It is
That
always
happens,
gradual, yeah.
it is gradual. So the day you see that this is happening, immediately reach out. And if you keep on exposing, the dog will never start reacting unless there is something wrong that has been done or being experienced by the pet. So, if the parents keep on applying the basics to the pet since the puppyhood, there'll be never a surprise event for the pet parents, I would say. Not it. But then if they are encountering this kind of reactivity, please reach out. Don't take it, don't try to manage it, because you may reach out to the level where it becomes unmanageable. Many times leash reactivity of the dog reach out to the level where if you try to stop that dog by the pet parent, they may turn back and bite the parent itself.
True.
So
Yeah.
don't wait for that day, because it will be really disheartening for you to experience a bite from your own dog.
Yeah, I guess we have addressed pretty much everything. For the rest of the things, guys, here we have really, I think it's been more than 1 hour since we are chatting. So if you have any questions, you can, always reach out to Vaibhav separately or anybody. So yeah, I wanted to just, make it clear that, see, it's like we don't have to agree with 100% of, what we say with different people. So just talk to professionals. If one thing is not working, reach out to some other person, and see if those methods are working. If you, like Weber said in the beginning of the session, that the behaviorist, the professional, and the parents should be on the same page, should have an agreement on the methods and everything, and only then things can work. Like, it's a joint effort, so it's like never ki only the dog has to work or only the parents have to work. So you have to work as a team, and only then it can happen. And I'm talking from personal experience, because we have faced this. Raising a beagle is no joke. So
Correct.
we have been able to do that because of these little things. And the most important thing, like Weber said, is that you have to nip it in the bud whenever you see the first initial signs. Whether you have a puppy or you bring an adult dog, or in whatever stage you see the signs, please reach out to a professional. Do not take help from Google or YouTube videos, or in general also. Like, people are pinging me and asking. So instead of doing that, please, you can ping me to ask, can you please recommend a good, this person or that person. I can do
I'll tell
that.
you what, just to, sorry to
No,
interrupt,
no, no.
Shruti.
Sure.
Anyone can Google, anyone can reach out, but if you see that it's not bringing up the results, then
Exactly.
at least reach out to.
Yeah.
Don't keep on experimenting for longer time.
Yeah. No
They could be
experiments,
helpful.
please. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, don't. If you don't see the changes, if you see that it is not bringing up the changes, please reach out to the right person at the right time.
Yeah.
So you definitely Google. I don't disagree. Google also gives right, but if it is not working, if it is working good enough, if it is not working, please reach out.
Yeah. And you should, I think, for very critical things also, you should not Google. Maybe just things that
No
can be
critical. Correct.
manageable stuff you can do. But yeah, don't put and another takeaway was that don't put your dog or someone else's dog in a situation that can be a very bad experience for them. So, because I have faced that and I felt very bad that my dog's well-being was not thought through, just the other person's dog. Because, and yeah, this point, like you said, Vaibhav, like, दोस्ती होनी है, it is not important. Let your dog choose कि किससे बात करनी है, किससे नहीं, and that should not be forced कि नहीं नहीं करानी है हमें दोस्ती क्योंकि हम फ्रेंड्स है तो हमारे डॉग्स भी फ्रेंड होने चाहिए.
Correct.
So this is
Correct.
something that cannot happen. Dogs choose their people, I feel.
True.
Thank you, Weber. Anybody else? Like, I think we don't have much time. It's too late. So sorry, Weber, for keeping you for so long. इतने
No
सारे
worries.
questions
No
थे.
worries.
मुझे था कि इस बार अच्छे से पूछ ही लेते हैं. So this will
Continue
be
doing the good
saved.
work, Shruti. It was very
Thank you,
nice.
Weber.
Thank you for the invitation and having me on the session.
Sure. So
Hope
guys,
parents would have
yeah.
got help.
Yeah, I'm sure people are typing that it was a good session and all that. So thank you guys for joining, whoever did. And whoever couldn't, you guys can tell them that this will be saved. So if they want to watch later on, it will be available on Penny's page. And I think Vaibhav के page पे भी आ जाएगा if we collaborate. So, and guys, please, first thing first is like, there are, it's like you can agree to disagree with people. Just be informed, and these conversations are important. You should have these conversations ताकि आपको समझ में आए कि इसके बाहर भी चीजें होती हैं. तो you should, main thing is always reach out at the right time to the right people, and things will be good. So thanks, Weber. Bye
All
bye.
my pleasure.
Thank you so
Take care.
much.
See you. Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Bye.